Good afternoon. Welcome to Dad's on Guard. My name is Abdul Rashid, and I work with Franklin Vance Warren Opportunity. And we are happy to make this conversation available to the broader public in our effort to try to present a platform by which we can engage men in the community, uh, fathers, grandfathers, uncles, grandfathers, uh, just men in the lives of their children and their families in a more constructive way. This program grew out of our relationship and working and supporting our Head Start program and its dynamic leader uh, who wanted to do a program to pull the men and the families of the children that attend our Head Start centers to be more engaged in their growth and development. She launched a couple of sessions that we supported her in, The Man in the Mirror, which we entitled The Man in the Mirror. And they were so successful, we wanted to find a way to continue that conversation and dialogue. And we were encouraged to do so by the men that participated in the Man in the Mirror program. We firmly believe that if the men in our community would assume a more constructive, engaging role in the lives of their families, we will have stronger communities, and thus we'll have less issues that we have to deal with our children. Franklin Vance Warren is again well positioned to help facilitate this conversation. I'm joined by two very, very talented young men who are engaged with their children and their families. I have observed in a very, very constructive way. Plus, they are engineers and technicians that understand the work that they do. They are responsible for the technical side of this podcast, as well as subject experts in helping us to engage in the conversations. So I want you to welcome Roy Brown Jr. and Damon Glover, and they are the ones that sort of leading me and hopefully continue to lead us in a positive conversation that will allow us to improve on the outcomes in our community in terms of our behavior as men supporting our families and our communities. Welcome, gentlemen.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'd like to just talk about the the value of a father. And I'm not qualifying good father, bad father, just the value of a father. And I have a very unique experience with this. I grew up in Vance County, a couple of blocks down the street in West End, and it wasn't a lot of fathers in the early to mid 80s in the home.
That's
And my father was one of the few that were there. And I got a chance to see my father, even though he worked two jobs, he provided, he had a lot of rules and standards, and I didn't like any of them. And I wanted to hang around in the projects with my cousins. And he told me one day, he said, I know you want to hang over there, but one day you're going to see the difference. And I thought he was just selling some wolf tickets at the time, right? But then as I got older and I started really hanging, like after school, going to my cousin's house, or we're going to go little date night with our girlfriends, you know? And 11:30, 12 o'clock, I'm like, dang, I got to go home. It was like, come on, man, you can stay out. I'm like, nah, bruh. Curfew, bro. I got to be accountable to somebody, right?
That's right.
And I hated that I had to break off. And as I got older, I saw two different things. I'm the ninth of my dad's 11 children. And I have two younger siblings. I'm my mom's oldest. And my father, for whatever reasons, he didn't really father his first batch of kids. He fathered the last batch. And so out of my siblings, in and out of jail, all of them, in and out of jail, dysfunctional this, dysfunctional that. And they didn't like us because they felt like our dad, my mom took their dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't really care for us that much, but we were still family. I saw them and we got along sometimes.
Yeah.
And then right across the way, all of my cousins who grew up in the projects without their dads, total same thing, dysfunction, in and out, and I'm trying to dabble as much as I can, but I got somebody to answer to.
Exactly.
And the only reason myself and my younger siblings have the lives we have today is because my dad was present. He wasn't a gentle parenter. He belt to butt all the time. There's a lot of rules, but it kept us aligned.
Right.
And even though we had some struggles, we were able to get back on track because we grew up with boundaries, grew up with some tough love. We grew up with what we needed to be functional adults. And so now because of that, I have 5 children. All of my children are way better than I was at this age, at their age now.
Yeah.
The ones that are parents are really good parents. They're not having the same struggles that I had.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not having the same struggles that my dad had. And so every generation we're getting better. And no shot to moms, no slight to moms.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something different about a father's presence. And a mom will tell you, she can say what you say, but when dad come in, it's like all of a sudden these kids straighten up.
Different.
It's something different about dads. And so that's what I love, the work that we all do in the community. You know, I'm with Vance County Cooperative Extensions. I do support and father involvement classes. I also have my own company, Father Figure Institute. And we just coach and we train and we give resources, because if we can hold each other accountable, we can create or get back to having positive communities, healthy communities.
100%.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where my dogs at?
On guard.
Yes, sir. I'm Roy Brown Jr. And, you know, this has been one amazing journey. When we first started, you know, Dads on Guard, we called the Dads on Guard experience. And it's really been an experience. And it's been a learning experience for me along this journey. I'm a father of 7 kids, and I'm the 7th child. So just
Baby
being, just big, huge family. And growing up here in Vance County and growing up out in the country in Williamsboro, I definitely appreciated having now I appreciate it more that I had my dad. And I see the value of having had my dad growing up. And even though he had a different cultural, he had Jamaican, and I had to deal with different cultural things growing up, but I really have grown, and as I hit different stages in my life, it was different things I appreciated from that I didn't appreciate,
early on.
Yeah. And this journey has really sparked change in my life. It's made me reflect on who I am as a person, as a father, try to do better. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
But
we all are.
But I can tell you that it is life changing, and I can honestly say that I know that the work we're doing is and will and probably have already impacted someone's life. And if we could have just affected one person, that made the whole difference. So if we want to talk about some of the things that we've done so far from the beginning, we have done we've done about 5 episodes, I believe, so far. Right. If we considered, we had a 2-part episode as well.
Yeah.
But we initially started out, just defining what Dads on Guard was. We had an episode, and it featured the founder and CEO of Henderson Collegiate. We had Eric Sanchez.
Oh, yeah. Eric Sanchez, yeah.
We kind of started the show off with him, and he gave some great insight when it comes to him being an institution and different things like that. What are some of the takeaways do you guys remember from that conversation with Eric Sanchez and I remember episode 1.
If I might, I'd like to just follow up on a comment my partner here made regarding his father being in his home and the difference that made for him.
Okay.
My experience is totally different, and I'm the OG on this panel.
Yes, sir. DOG.
I am definitely the elder. But I grew up not having known my father until not even meeting my father.
Yeah.
Until I was 21.
Wow.
But I always had a male figure in my life.
Father figure.
When I first came to North Carolina to live with my grandmother and grandfather, my grandfather was that strong male figure, as you stated your father was, who reinforced and created a certain environment as well as expectations. After my grandfather passed, my grandmother and I then lived with her daughter and her husband for the most part. We wasn't living alone, but we always were only a house away from her daughter and her husband.
Yeah.
So my uncle really is the father figure in my life. And I attest to what you're saying, even though he wasn't my biological father.
Yep.
The fact that he was present, I watched him toil, go to work. I watched him humble himself. I watched him provide. I watched him discipline, as you will, because as you stated, when he came in the house, not only did I straighten up, but my grandmother straightened up.
Whole house straightened up.
His wife straightened up. And that was the respect that we all had for that man in our house and in our lives. So I agree with you. It absolutely makes a difference. And father does not necessarily mean that it's a biological connection.
Right. Right.
Father is a type. Father is a definite set of behaviors.
Yeah.
What I want to say, moral compass, if you will, that help all of us see ourselves, because the dad was a mirror.
Yeah.
If you looked at, or the man in the community was a mirror, particularly for us as boys. Our mothers, our grandmothers were absolutely the nurturers who took care of dad, the children, the house, and made everything sort of move as it should in terms of our development. But I wanted to just testify to say how important it is for us to have a positive male role model image in our lives.
Can I follow up with a question for you guys? Because, I'm, like I said, I'm the youngest of 7 kids. So I have older parents, and I feel like I grew up in different times, And I know society has changed and rules and laws have changed. You can't be, you can't whoop your kids. Certain things have changed and evolved in society. Do you think that those things are the reason we may not have the same respect as, do you think that the respect has changed toward the male that's around in the present male?
Well, I don't know if it necessarily, if I might, has anything with our ability to use corporal punishment.
Right.
I do, however, believe that because of the role that the man is able to play in the community and in his own life has diminished our respect and role in our households, in our neighborhoods, in our communities. And it's absolutely a challenge to actually walk in the shoes of a man, given the time frame. Like you say, you guys are young. I came into teenager at the end of segregation. I saw black water fountains, black bathrooms,
Yeah.
Segregated. I went to segregated schools through the 10th grade, and was part of actually integrating schools here in Henderson, Vance County, when we in 1965.
Right.
So times have changed because even back during segregation, and we certainly were living a controlled and I don't want to go back and relive all that ugly history
Yeah.
that has been documented. But I do want to say that even in that environment, the men that I respect managed themselves in a way that they still persevered and rose above their circumstance.
Right.
They provided,
Mhm.
as Damon said earlier, they may work 2 or 3 jobs. They were underpaid, last hired and first fired, mistreated, but they still wanted the best that they could provide, and you were generally conscious of that.
Right.
Yep.
But they also had certain expectations of us
Yeah.
as children, as members of the community and neighborhood. And that helped to define the quality of life that we had, even in a bad situation that we didn't control. Go right ahead.
So I think, I mean, what you're saying is spot on. It's, you had more nuclear families, if
Right.
you will, right?
That's right.
Whether it was mother, father, aunt, uncle, grandma, granddad,
That's right.
right? And, but today, we don't have the nuclear family.
That's right.
And so you may have now a single mom raising 3 boys.
That's right.
These boys don't see this father figure.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't have the benefit of osmosis, right?
Yeah.
Just being in the environment,
That's
seeing
right.
how men move,
That's right.
how men interact with other men, how men will put the family on their back and go make something happen.
That's right.
Right.
Right. And so like my my closest cousin growing up, his mom, she's a very masculine woman
Mhm.
because she went to some really bad experiences and she just decided, you know what, I'm gonna just figure it out. And so she went out and she had to go hustle and fight for everything. And so my cousin saw that, and the difference between what they saw and what I saw, I was much more emotionally stable
Right.
in certain
Mhm.
situations.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw a lot more of a logical mind when things got hard.
Rather than being emotional.
Yes, because my dad didn't yell at me. Come here, boy. How many times have we talked about this? Are you gonna get this straight, or do I need to help you get this straight? And yes, sir. I'll do it. I'll fix it. Versus my mom or my aunt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I told you how many
Right,
times.
right.
It's just like, and so as men get older,
You start mimicking.
not so much mimicking, but it becomes white noise.
That's right.
We hear it,
That's
But it
right.
don't.
but it don't motivate us to do anything.
That's right.
Gotcha.
And so now I've been raised with my mom and my sisters, or my mom and my aunties.
Mm-hmm.
And now when I go to look for a relationship, I'm looking for a woman that take care of me like my mom did,
Gotcha.
but I could also have sex with. Right?
Right.
I'm not giving her no more respect than I gave my mom because it was white noise. There was no pressure. And I think what men bring into an environment is pressure, which is why
Mm.
masculinity kind of seems like it's toxic sometimes.
Right.
Because masculinity is accountability.
Yeah.
It is, are you going to get it straight, or do I need to help you get it straight?
It represents strength.
Yes.
It represents discipline.
Mm.
It represents an expectation.
An expectation.
That all of us, and it's a nature thing.
Yeah.
It's natural. Yeah.
You said earlier about not necessarily one better than the other, And it really isn't one better than the
No.
other. But there clearly is a distinctive, natural role
Yep.
for the woman and for the man.
Yep.
And if the woman does her thing right, we're going to have a chance of being healthy. And if there's a man in our life
Mhm.
and he does his thing right,
Yep.
we have even a higher chance
Yep.
of being healthy, strong human beings, whether we're men or
Or
women.
women. Yeah.
But we need both of
We
those
need both.
roles performing in their natural
In the natural.
nature.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody escapes trauma.
That's right.
You could be a helicopter parent that's all around your kid, and you could tell them no one time when they really want to do something, and then 10 years later they're on the psychiatrist's couch.
Yeah, told me no.
My dad told me no, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I mean, nobody escapes trauma. Our kids don't care what our hurdles were.
Right.
They just know what their hurdles are.
It's relative.
Yes.
That's right.
And so when we walk, I walk to school 6 miles one way barefooted through the snow.
Right.
It's funny, but they don't care
Right.
because that's not their reality.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly.
Yeah.
So y'all, episode 2, we brought Kareem Fitz in, and he kind of gave us a backstory.
Prime example.
Of his situation, his child's mother, and all the things he went through. He gave us a lot of insight on the court system, custody battles. He went over a lot of personal, deeply, horrific things that he had experienced with his daughter and the child's mother. So when we look at, we look honestly at our own choices and the things that we made, it kind of led up to the situations we in. And that's kind of, a part of being the man in the mirror and identifying what we did wrong, we could do better, and what we're going to do. Since we're already in this situation, now we got to attack this situation head on.
Yeah.
So when I'm looking at, some of those situations, it's a lot of situations like Kareem, and there's a lot of people, broken homes, a lot of single parent homes. What do you guys think about the overall culture or the status of what we got going on now with the breakdown in our families?
I think Eric, going back to the first episode and the second episode, Eric talked a lot about the emotional intelligence, being able to go through and finding your balance, finding not wanting to always snatch the kid up because he did something wrong. It's the being softer with your kid too, because he deals with in the educational space, right?
Mhm.
So you have children that come in at all different levels.
Right.
And I think Eric has a bird's eye view of knowing, okay, this child may be lacking this at home. There may be no father present, and because whenever we have events, we see moms, but we don't see dads. Or we see dads over here and we don't see moms. So he has a bird's eye view on what emotional intelligence is in the home and how that affects the child when they get to school.
Right.
And so Kareem was is slightly different because the system favored the mother in his
in
situation,
this situation, yeah.
but she turned out to be the one who was causing the most trauma.
Right.
And so he had to go through his life things, trying to be here, trying to provide, trying to be present when somebody was not trying to let him be present,
Right.
and having to fight the system. So I think Kareem is the perfect reservoir for what Eric talked about the week before, the episode before, because he had to go through and learn those things. But his father was in his life.
Exactly.
Eric's father was in his life. So, I mean, when you see really strong people, you don't just become strong just because of birth.
That's right.
It's your influences
That's
around
right.
you.
It's the environment.
It's the environment. And so if you have strong communities, if you have a strong household first,
Right.
then you have a strong community, there's nothing you can't
And those
overcome.
are environments.
Yeah.
Those environments help to shape us.
Yep.
Let me respond. You asked the question, what do I think about our current community situation? Again, as the elder on this in this conversation, everything we see today, it's always been there.
Yep.
It's how we manage that situation There were families in the community when I was growing up that the dad just wasn't there.
Yep.
There was no man in that household. There were situations where dads were in and out.
Yep.
There were situations where dads were not necessarily meeting their obligation and expectation to the family.
Yep.
Because of alcoholism, because they had lost confidence in themselves and couldn't find gainful employment that caused them to lose their self-esteem, and they
Yeah.
didn't feel good about themselves, and it reflected as to the role and the image they projected in the community or in their families and homes. So, but the difference, I think, then and today was the values
Mhm.
that we embraced as a community.
Mm-hmm.
With the absence of the man not always being upright in his role, the values of the community at large, that environment again,
Again.
reinforced what we were missing in that individual man.
Yeah.
But there was a collective image
Right.
and expectation of us that we saw coming out of other men. Because I can clearly say that growing up here in Henderson during segregation, some of the strongest men and women that I've known in life, or I can say that I haven't known any stronger men or women given the situation
Yeah.
than when I saw during segregation.
Mm.
And that was a ugly time
Yeah.
in our country and our history. And even the strongest, the most intelligent, the fastest running, the highest jumping man in our community was not given an opportunity, an equal opportunity to compete.
Right.
And that's all we want.
The equal
As a
opportunity.
man, I just wanted a chance
Give
to
me the opportunity.
Give me the
compete.
same thing you got.
Give me the opportunity, and I'll stand on my own gifts, my own initiative, my own discipline, my own effort. But that was a different time. Today, the choices that we make as men impact more of our success in becoming a man.
Correct. You said something very powerful during our first episode. What you said was how freedom isn't free, and it sometimes our freedom can actually be our worst enemy.
Absolutely.
And when you said that, and another thing about environment. So when we look at the kids nowadays, they have YouTube, and then we have all this social media. Do y'all think those environmental factors are, making the situation worse, or you think that it's just amplifying what already, like you said, already had been existing with the family breakdown?
The social media and our ability to connect through that medium has hurt our social skills. The fact that children don't get outside and play and engage and compete and learn how to manage their emotions in real time. It's real easy to say big bully kind of things when you 10 blocks away
Yeah.
on a phone.
Right.
We call that
you-
keyboard
Then,
courage.
to stand in
Keyboard
my
gangsters.
face
Yeah.
and put that challenge or sell that wolf ticket. But on the other side of that, in terms of access to information, universal information, the social media, the electronic intelligence and connection is unmatched in the history of the world.
Right.
So there's some absolute positives, but in terms of how it impacts us socially, and we are social creatures.
Mhm.
We are social creatures. We have to engage
Right.
in order to reach our full potential. And I think that has hurt and does hurt our relationships in our communities because we have less opportunity to really get to know and to share real natural feelings and emotions.
Right, because back in the day, in about in the '90s, if you got in an argument with your girlfriend, I might just go in separate rooms. But nowadays, she might make a whole post about you on Facebook. So you might could forgive a little space in the room, but now you got to go on Facebook and everybody, oh, what you got going on? So I'm just saying, like, social media can be detrimental sometimes in this day and age, when people utilize it in different ways. Our third episode, did you want to respond to that, Jamon, about the...
Briefly, one of the things that in my Support and Father Involvement program, we talk a lot about your relationship with your co-parent, right? And the biggest challenge that I find is we have romanticized the past so much, and we want to put everybody in this bucket. As a woman, you should do this. As a man, you should do this.
Mm-hmm.
When culturally, we're not in the same space that we used to be in.
That's correct.
Sure.
So now it's like one of the things that I try to guide people that come through my program is partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Partnership.
Yeah.
If my wife is a high earning corporate person and I'm a blue collar person, well, that's already a kind of a difference in perspective, right?
Correct.
Or the paradigm.
The paradigm, right?
That's a different paradigm than society has put out there.
Yeah.
Right.
So now doesn't my wife feel away because she's not, Susie Homemaker, because she's not Betty Crocker and she's cooking and baking all the time?
Exactly.
But then because I'm what may be more gifted in that area,
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it. Do my friends judge me because I'm cooking 90% of the meals?
Right.
So it's like adjusting to your relationship.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what builds better environments. Instead of taking these old traditional roles that
Mhm.
work,
Yeah.
but culturally, my wife don't need me to go hunt the food no more. We
Gotcha.
just stop by the grocery store on the way home.
Exactly.
I ain't got to go chop firewood, know.
That's right.
So she don't need me to be the masculine man of the past.
So traditional. So
Yes,
traditional.
she
Gotcha.
need me to be the masculine man of the future.
Mhm.
Of
And
the
so
day.
up to date.
Today.
That's
And
right.
what does that
Mhm.
look like?
Yeah, that's been an online topic, traditional versus modern, and whether I know we can't go back in time. So a lot of people want to know is, do we just accept society? We got hot girl summers, we got all kind of stuff that go on in society nowadays. Like, is that something that we need to accept, or do we still need to have some kind of traditional values instilled within side of the modern lifestyle? Like, because like your girl having a hot girl summer, are you going to want to be in a relationship like that?
It's standards. I truly think that's the thing that never goes out of style. It's your standards.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
There's a natural order to things.
Yeah.
There is a law in nature.
Yep.
And if you violate that natural law in nature, there are repercussions.
Yep.
Mama said, don't touch that hot stove right there, young man. And that law in nature is that hot is hot.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you don't follow that advice and caring and concern and discipline that mother or daddy gives you, and you decide that as you move your finger closer to that heat, now you feel that
feel
heat.
that heat.
Feel the heat.
You get a warning. God gives you a warning.
You always get a warning.
But you still gonna go against the natural law in nature and test to see if hot really is hot.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing a job now. We're not doing as well a job now is managing our decisions
Gotcha.
and following the natural order of things. And I could go deeper,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm gonna stop right there.
We're going to
and
revisit
say,
that.
say
We're
that
gonna revisit it.
to say that we are not getting the messages that help us coming out of our natural roles in our households
Yeah.
and our families and our communities to help us make good choices.
Gotcha.
Because part of what I hear you saying, that your family environment, traditional or not, we still had enough poured into us that allowed us to be able to have good discernment and make good choices.
Yeah.
And your environment teaches you how to make good choices. And
Yep.
that's what I hear in you saying your father and your mother did for you. I hear you saying my Jamaican father and mother provided the opportunity, even if it was with, what did you say about that belt? That was a
belt to butt.
Belt
Well,
to butt.
They call it
Yeah,
BTA right now.
Okay, BTA.
But I call
All
it
right, but
belt
see,
to
I'm
butt.
not in tune with any of that lingo. But you're
Yeah.
absolutely correct. The environment suggested that even with or without belt to butt, we learn how to make good decisions
That's
Yeah.
correct.
and stay as close to in tune with the natural order of things as we could. That's the leverage on success. It really is.
Yeah.
When we can stay close to the natural order of things, we have a greater chance of reaching our full potential.
I really believe that.
And so
feel
I
it.
wanna we gonna revisit that at another time, another show. And one thing I want to add to that is we reward bad behavior.
Gotcha.
If I know I can go around town punching people in the face, I'm gonna go viral. I'm gonna
Right.
get 1,000,000 views.
Yeah.
Oh,
So guess what I'm gonna do?
Do
Or if I want to go out there and my girl want to go out there and just start twerking all over the place and having hot girl summer, and guys are sitting back like, look at this. Let me scroll through some more of her videos real quick though. Hold on. This is. Man, what are these women doing these days? This is ridiculous. Hold on. I'm gonna like that one. Let me go again. We rewarding bad behavior. So
It's law of attraction.
if you telling me you like this, well, I'm gonna give you more. If you start saying, "Oh man, I did like her, but unfollow," and she start getting 20, 30, 40, 1,000 unfollows a week every time she drop a twerking video, guess what she gonna stop doing? You know what? What do they really like? Because they ain't liking this no more.
Right.
What's the new vibe? What? Oh, everybody's cooking now. Okay, I can cook too.
Right.
So
to the next
it's
thing.
rewarding bad behavior. So we gotta start having our own standards and sticking to them.
Gotcha. So you guys, so episode 3 put us on the map a little bit.
Oh yeah.
It did, man. Episode 3. So episode 1 and 2, we did have some great, we had some great feedback. A lot of views, a lot of comments on those episodes. Then we probably topped out about 10,000 views on one of those episodes. And then episode 3 happened, and it was some controversy behind it a little bit because of, camera angles or whatever. But we did hit over 2 million views
Wow.
on episode 3.
2 million, huh?
2 million.
and that's amazing. And as we move toward closing this particular episode, we have been sort of focusing on guns
Mm-hmm.
and violence
Yep.
and weapons and the appropriate use of guns and violence and weapons. And again, I agree with what you just heard, that we are making bad choices in terms of how we use the freedom that we have. You talked about freedom earlier.
Yes, sir.
The freedom that we have based on law that allows us, and we are fully committed to the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms. We support that fully. And as an African American, having grown up in America back in the day, how in the world could I be against
Second Amendment.
the Second Amendment? But having said that, the choices that we make now and how we exercise our freedom with weapons is absolutely destroying the fabric of our community.
Yeah.
And has become almost uncivil, the manner in which we're using weapons for all the wrong reasons. And the way that we're using guns and weapons in our community today have very little to do with the Second Amendment. The freedom to have a gun, you have three times to make a choice on using that gun. First, if you have the right to use a gun and you think you should use the gun, you have to first decide you're going to go get the gun. That's your first chance to make a choice. Secondly, then you get to the gun. You've got a choice if you're going to pick that gun up. You still have a chance to bag up and not do something stupid.
Right.
The third choice you have is when you place your finger on that trigger, or maybe you have four choices.
Right.
Once you pick it up, then you got to decide if you're going to put your hand on that trigger.
Right.
You still have a chance
You have a chance.
to bag up. The fourth opportunity we have to make a choice about the use of that weapon is to pull the trigger. We have lost our conscience about how we, in fact, exercise freedom. And we ought to talk more about this question of freedom
We will.
and the implications of freedom in terms of our behavior and how it impacts our families and our society.
Yes, sir. That was well said. So we're going to finish up with the last episode that we did, which we had a nice turnout. It was a nice evening. We had some good food. We had the Man in the Mirror experience, and we had some great commentary. We had a lot of men step up to the microphone and give their experience. We had one clip from one part of the our filming Man in the Mirror experience where a stepfather of 5 kids stepped up and he told his experience and how his frustration, and he really asked for advice. And when people are sometimes in the corner and all they need is a little guidance.
Yep.
It's good that we were a platform that he felt comfortable to come and get that advice from. What were some of the takeaways from our last meeting when we did the Man in the Mirror experience?
I think the biggest takeaway I had was the community is starting to form. We are creating a platform that is a safe space for not just fathers, but men in general feel comfortable enough to talk about some of the things in their lives, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Because
sir.
we grew up. What happens in this house stays
Stay
in
in
this
the
house.
house.
right?
We don't talk about nothing.
That's
You know, which led to a lot of dysfunction sometimes.
That's right.
Which led to a lot of bad decisions.
Mhm.
I often remind my children. I said, "Look, y'all, we think we got free will. We really don't.
Correct.
Free will imply God has free will
Yeah,
That's right.
because He can do something and there is no consequence to Him. Right?
That's right.
exactly.
We have free choice.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
and,
a difference.
And that's a difference. You can choose to do what you want to do,
That's right.
but there's a natural
Consequence.
or a logical
consequence.
consequence.
Cause and effect.
That's right.
That's it. So
That's the natural order of things.
So just having the men show up and be as engaged as they were,
Yeah.
that tells me that we're heading in the right direction and
Yeah.
that this podcast really is making a difference. People are receiving information, they're learning through osmosis, just being around dudes, hearing the hurdles, the things you had to overcome, the successes, the failures,
Yeah.
and you realize failure is not final.
It's not.
Failure is a part of the process.
That's right.
And
Fall
fail
down, get
fast,
back
right?
Mm-hmm. Fail fast.
Fail fast. Don't be too prideful to ask for help. Don't be too prideful to make a mistake because it's going to be all over social media. Guess what? In 5 years, what you learn from that going to be all over social media too. And you're
That's
going
a
to be
fact.
winning.
You're gonna be winning over. That's a fact.
That's my takeaway.
As we close today, I want to thank you for joining us in this conversation. It really is intended to cause you to think and hopefully have a conversation with your friends in the barbershop, wherever you engage with others, that you'll begin to focus on some of the issues and questions and comments. And we don't say that we're 100% right. So we're willing to engage your questions and or comments or observations relative to anything that we presented today. However, we are excited about some of the guests that we'll be bringing to you in the near future and the conversations that will be ongoing. Soon, we will have law professor Steve Valentine from North Carolina Central University School of Law join with us to have a more in-depth discussion about the Second Amendment. And then we have a very, very special guest, internationally known artist and singer, Grammy-winning artist and singer, our own Gerald Austin, will join us in the near future for a free-flowing, engaging conversation about how did Henderson and this environment and the men in this community, the women in this community, help to shape Gerald Austin and how he has been able to maximize all of his gifts and reach, and I don't know if he's fully reached his potential, but he's been around the world,
Right.
and he started right here in Henderson on West End,
West
West
End.
End.
That's it.
with one of these family types that you've heard us talking about. So please stay tuned. Be on the lookout for Professor Valentine and the Second Amendment discussion. And certainly you don't want to miss Gerald Austin of the Manhattans, internationally known singer, who will talk to us about growing up here in Henderson and Vance County. I'd like to thank you again and thank my partners for all the insights that they have brought to Dads on Guard, and we see you the next time.
Where my dogs at?
We on guard.
Woof.
Like and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube.
Wonderful.